Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're all doing good, and I hope that you guys are staying safe and taking care of yourselves, especially given what's going on right now. On the 25th of May this year, George Floyd was murdered by police officers who claimed he was resisting arrest. He was not. And a police officer, Derek Chauvin, knelt on his neck for 9 minutes while he begged to be let up so that he could breathe, because he could not. That has sparked a lot of conversation, a wave of protests, which I am so here for because it is needed. Change is needed. And it sparked a lot of conversation about how the UK is not innocent. The UK is not innocent. I'm gonna say that. That is a point blank period fact. I will be leaving some resources for people to look at, and it made me think of some of my experiences going to secondary school in the UK and some of the racism that I experienced and some of the ways I was othered and treated differently and assumptions that were made about me. So I'm going to be telling the story of my secondary school experience. I'm going to give some context. So at the tail end of year 7, my whole family moved to the northwest, and my parents found a Christian school there. It's like a Christian private school, and so they were happy about that, and they wanted me to go there because they felt that I would be taught Christian values during my day-to-day education. Let's start with racism is not a Christian value, so y'all need to do better. Okay, cool. Just going in there, and I know that a lot of people have said this about their school, but braids were not allowed, and braids are an integral part of our culture and a protective style for a lot of us. But that's just on the side, because the story I'm going to go into, yeah. So I joined at the tail end of year 7, so I had 6 weeks left of year 7, then the summer holidays, and then I went into year 8. And in year 8, I went on a residential trip with with the class. So year 7 and year 8, each September, I believe it is, they go on a residential trip to Wales, and it's like a Christian residential. So we went, and I was really, really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was my first residential as well. So I was like really excited, like really stoked to be going. So it was a week long, and we were there, and on the Wednesday night we had sort of like a free evening, so we were out sort of on the grounds, and we were quite a rowdy bunch. Now let me tell you about my class. So my class was tiny. That's always the way with these private Christian schools, and my class was tiny, and there were 2 black girls and 1 black boy in my year. Everybody else was white. Me and the black girl were really, really close, and we're gonna call her Tina. We're just gonna call her Tina. We were on this residential, and on the Wednesday we had a free evening, and we were out on the grounds, and I can't lie, like, it was year 7 and year 8 together. There's a lot of us when you combine the 2 classes together, and we were living it up. We were making noise. We were a loud bunch. So we were out, we were living our best lives. We were all talking, and there was a lot of noise, right? The year 8 class had 2 form tutors. One we're gonna call Mr. W, and the other one we're gonna call Miss Karen. So as we were out there, we were making our noise, we were being loud, and apparently, we didn't know this, but apparently people lived on the premises or around the premises somewhere nearby, and so our noise was actually disturbing a household that were trying to get to sleep, and I believe it was like 9 or something like that. So Mr. W came out and was like, you guys need to keep the noise down, because your noise is affecting the people that live on these premises that are trying to sleep. And we were like, oh my goodness, so sorry, Mr. W. And the noise went down. The noise went down. We got comfortable. The noise went back up. It went back up, it went back up, it went back up. Long story short, because this is going to be a long story, he came out twice more, and the 3rd time he came out, he was like, all right, all of you inside right now. So we go inside, and we're like, oh, we in trouble now, sir. we knew we were all in trouble. After our evening activity, our final evening activity, around like 10 p.m, Mr. W wanted to address the noise incident, rightly so, right? So he asked who was out there making noise when I came outside the 3 times. I stood up because I was out there. I was actually having a one-on-one conversation with my girl, okay? I stood up though because I was out there, and I knew he would have seen me, do you know what I mean? Like, so I stood up, My friend stood up even though we were in the same situation. I turn around to see who else is standing. And I see this girl, and we're gonna call her Elizabeth. I see Elizabeth. Her booty is to her chair. Honey boo boo, I saw you. You were there. You were with the rest of the group. Like, realistically, 2 people cannot make as much noise as you and your group. You cannot tell me you were doing silence while you were out there with the group. I'm triggered now because I know that I'm gonna get punished for noise that I'm not solely responsible for. Not to say that my noise did not contribute, because of course. But this girl, she ain't gonna get nothing. And I was upset. He told us that we were not gonna get any sort of outside free time at all. And it was our last full day, so we were upset. And now I was even more frustrated because this girl had managed to basically lie her way out of a punishment, and I was not having it. So we went upstairs, back to our dorm room, and I said, so Elizabeth, why did you not stand up when Mr. W asked the question? Why didn't you stand up? Why were you sat? She goes, because I wasn't making any noise. First of all, you were with the main noise making group. I was having a one-on-one conversation. The maths doesn't add up. You mean to tell me that you were there, but you were also not a contributing factor to the noise making situation, and you think I'm stupid enough to believe that? I said to her, by that logic, neither was I. You were with the main group. You were with the loud group that was making noise. Like, what is this? Like, no, what is this? On a serious note, tell me, because I want to understand. Elizabeth did not provide me with an answer. Do you know what she proceeded to do? Here come the waterworks. She proceeded to cry. Now, another girl in our year who was known for her aggressive tendencies, we're going to call her Becky. She proceeded to shout, "You're making her cry now. You're making her cry. What's your problem?" I said to Becky, I have not done anything to this girl. I've not made her cry. I asked her a question and she's replied by crying. I haven't actually done anything to her. I've asked her a question and she has begun to weep. I can't help that. And so Becky proceeded to start shouting at me. All sorts. You're a nasty piece of work, you are. You're not nice, you. And I'm like, sis, please stop shouting at me. Could you stop shouting at me? So she stands up. She brings herself over. So she's like right by my bed. And she's on the bed opposite me. So she stands up. She goes, I'm gonna give you a slap. You what? Pardon? I was like, are you being deadly serious? She goes, yeah. I'm like, you would not. She comes over, she slaps me. She used her hand to harm my body. She used her hand and she went, boss. I said, wow. Now, Tina is on the bed next to me. This girl jumps up and she is like, what's your problem? What is your actual problem? What is your problem? Obviously, the volume level is rising in the room. So one of the teachers comes round and separates us, essentially. And she's like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. The 2 girls that were standing up, Becky and Tina, you guys are being taken out of the room right now. And that woman was the year 7 form tutor. So she was just trying to de-escalate the situation. And she said, you guys are going to talk to Miss Karen about what happened afterwards. So the next day, Miss Karen showed up and she asked all the girls for their account of the story. And so she asked myself, she asked Tina, she asked Becky. And I told her what had happened. I said, I told Karen, I was asking Elizabeth some questions. She started crying. Becky started shouting. She threatened to slap me. I said she would not. She came over and she made good on her promise. She slapped me. She actually hit me because I told her to stop shouting at me. You know what Miss Karen said? You know what Miss Karen prepared and opened her mouth to say? This bench told me I was going to get punished alongside Becky because I must have done something to provoke her. What made you think that, Karen? What made you think that? Care to explain? Because that does not make sense to me, because from the story that I just told you, that ain't what happened. So how have you drawn from this story that I have provoked this child, that I have provoked this petulant child to come and hit me? How? So we get back to school on Monday, the residential trip is now over, and there was this stupid form of punishment called the 4W. And it's basically this form that you fill out if you get in like serious trouble. And so I was told that I was going to be filling one out, and obviously Becky was going to be filling one out because she was getting punished for hitting me. I, on the other hand, was getting punished for provocation. So me and Becky are in the same room filling out our forms. We've both told Miss Karen our story, and we've both been together when we've done it. So I know what Becky's putting down on that form, and I obviously know what I'm putting down on that form as well. I knew what Becky put down on her form because I saw it. And she had put down basically the same story that I had put down, that she hit me, and I had put down that I got hit by her, right? And that was filed. Now, with the 4W system, if you got 2 in a term, you would get a detention. 3 in a term was a suspension. 4 in a term was grounds for expulsion. So you can see where this was going. And so fast forward, I think a week or so, and my mother gets called into school to have a meeting with the head of the middle school there. And I hadn't told my mum about this incident, which I think was a huge mistake, but I hadn't told my mum about this incident because I'd been punished for it and I thought I would get in trouble. And I later found out that this head of middle school, and we're going to call her Mrs. L, had told my mother that there was an incident in which I hit Becky. I did what? I did, when, Mrs. L? When? No, but when? Now, she had seen the 4W forms, which means either she is illiterate, which then brings into question why she works in a school where literacy is required and taught, right? Or the fact that this white girl could hit a black person just didn't fit the narrative that she wanted to portray, or the narrative that she holds in her head. So she deemed it better to tell my mother that I had assaulted this white girl when in fact it was the other way round. My mum was sort of torn, because if a teacher who is in a position to protect and look after your child when you as a parent are not there is telling you something, you are inclined to believe it. And I told her this, and I think my mum realised that there must be some veracity in what I'm saying, because I did not let it go for years. For years I didn't let it go. And I'm really upset with myself because I never actually confronted that teacher about what she had said about me, and the lies that she had told to my parents. And I should have. And we ended up talking to the head teacher about it, but she did nothing about it. And I remember just feeling so wronged and so hurt. But as I'm older now, the more I look back on it, like, it's like, me being assaulted by this white girl just didn't fit your narrative, did it? It didn't fit your narrative. And I have so many more stories about racist incidents from this school that I will probably end up telling in the very near future, because I want this to be a space, like, because for a long time I blamed myself for a lot of things that happened, and sometimes things would just seem downright wrong, and I would think, am I the problem here? Being accused of something that you haven't done when you know you haven't done it, it messes with your head. It's genuinely hard to deal with. Ooh, I wish somebody would try me now, and they have, to be fair, but I'm a lot more outspoken. We give glory to God, because say no to racism. But yeah, that is my story of well, one of many stories of the little racist Christian school in the Northwest. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys got something from it, even if it is just validation for like the racist experiences that you've had in school that were so covert and so manipulative that you didn't know whether to call it racism. If you guys want to talk about anything, feel free to comment down below, or if it's something a little bit more private or anything, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My DMs are open. I'm really here to talk with you guys on your experiences, because I know how weird it can be having to ask yourself, was it racism, was it not, was it racism, was it not, and feeling like you may be the problem. And let me just say, if somebody is being racist towards you covertly or overtly, as a black person, you are not the issue. They are. I just want to really emphasize that. For the people, for the non-black people that may be watching this and getting a little bit triggered, and especially for the Karens, Beckys and Steves, I just want to say that if you're going to sort of comment down below anything that is trying to explain away or invalidate my experience, don't. I'm not here for it. I'm not here to hear your excuses. I'm not here to hear any of that. I know what I experienced. I know what I felt in that experience. And if you're going to be a racism apologist, I'm not here to argue with you. There are going to be links down below for where to donate and some additional resources. I will also leave a list of amazing books in terms of non-black people educating themselves on issues of race. When a black person tells you that they've experienced something that is racist and discriminatory, do not argue them and talk them out of it. That is manipulation. Let's not. I'm not really here to sort of listen to it at all today, tomorrow, or the next day, or ever. If you do have genuine like questions and want to understand stuff, again, the breeding material is also there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.